Hello, children. Today I am going to narrate you the story How High is the Sky? Once there stood a small village right on top of a hill. The land around the village was fertile and gave bountiful crops, so everyone got enough to eat without having to put in much work. The result was that people had plenty of spare time on their hands and spent much of it in discussions. One day, the wise men of the village got together to find an answer to a problem that had long been worrying them. What was the height of the sky? Some of them said it was a mile high. Others were of the opinion that it must be at least 2 miles, for they had been to the top of tall mountains but had not been able to touch the sky. In the assembly, there were also some ignorant fools who said there was no such thing as the sky, but they were only ridiculed by the others. How could they even think of such stupid thing if only they used their eyes a little better? They could see the blue sky hanging above their heads. After hours of discussion, they were now here near a solution. So it was decided that the height of the sky must be measured and the matter settled once and for all. But how were they to do it? They had no ladder long enough to reach the sky. Why not build a tower? Then suggested someone. They could keep adding to the height of the tower till it reached the sky. But then they came up with another problem, for there was not enough stone in the countryside for such a gigantic project. What were they to do then? At last, they hit on the perfect solution. Why not build a tower with parts, one part over the other, till they reached the sky? There was enough earth around to make all the parts they might need. So all the potters in the village were told to make pots. They got down to work with a will, and in a few months the entire village had become one big sea of pots. When it came to the point that people found it difficult even to step out of their houses, the wise men decided that they now had enough pots. They made an announcement that the height of the sky would be measured on the following morning, and two brave young men were chosen for the honor of being the first human to reach the sky. Next day, everyone from the village collected on top of the hill. The two young men placed a pot firmly on the ground, another one over it, and yet another. They were helped by an army of enthusiasts who fetched parts from all over the village. As the tower grew, the two young men kept placing more and more parts on top and using the parts as steps. They kept climbing higher and higher. By evening, the tower had grown so high that the people on the ground could hardly see the two young men on top. Surely, they said, the young men must be nearing the sky now. The two young men also thought the same. They saw the clouds overhead lit up to a golden red by the evening sun. So near did the clouds seem that the young men thought they had reached the sky. But by now all the parts were used up, and they could not raise the tower any higher. Oh, if only they had a long enough pole, they could reach up and tap the sky with it. So they shouted down to the men below to send up a long bamboo. But they were so far up that only a faint sound reached the ground. Hey, what was that you said? The men below shouted back, cupping their ears with their palms. Did you say pull the tower down? The young men on the top again shouted for a long bamboo, but the men below heard only some muffled sounds. This shouting back and forth went on for some time, and then the men on the ground decided to place the matter before the wise men. Gentlemen, they said to the wise men, the two young men on top keep telling us to pull the tower down. We don't know why they want us to do that, so we have come to place the matter before you. Is that so? Asked the wise men. We are sure that if they want the tower to be pulled down, it must be for a good reason. Perhaps some monster of the skies is trying to eat them up. and that is why they want to come down fast. You must carry out their wishes without delay. The pot at the bottom was smashed with a big blow from a stick, and the great tower came crashing to the ground. The two young men had a miraculous escape. They suffered only a few minor injuries, but they were no nearer an answer to the question, how high is the sky? So the wise men wisely decided to let the matter stand. Never again did they try to find another solution to it. Thank you, children. If you want to listen more and more stories from me, please subscribe and also share. Thank you, children.